After a day of mixed messaging on the Strait of Hormuz, US President Donald Trump says he's still optimistic about talks with Tehran, saying that negotiation with Iranian officials is ongoing. His comments come hours after the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps announced that they're re-establishing control over the strait.
We have very good conversations going on. It's working out very well. They got a little cute, as they have been doing for 47 years. Nobody ever took them on. We took them on. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. They have no leaders. They have no nothing. Actually, their leaders are, it is regime change. You call that enforced regime change. But we're talking to them. They wanted to close up the strait again, you know, as they've been doing for years. And they can't blackmail us. In fact, a lot of the ships are coming up to Texas. I don't know if you know, in Louisiana, the ships are coming up. They got used to it. Maybe they'll keep doing it. It's worked out pretty good. But it's going actually along very well. And we'll see. But we'll have some information by the end of the day. We're talking to them. And, you know, we're taking a tough stand. They've killed a lot of people. A lot of our people have been killed.
The president's comments come as reports of multiple attacks in the Strait of Hormuz are happening. The UK Maritime Trade Operations Office is reporting that Iranian forces opened fire at oil tankers in the strait. One of them is believed to be carrying at least 2 million barrels of Iraqi crude. It also says that an unknown projectile has damaged a container ship northeast of Oman. Iran's deputy foreign minister says there will be no date for peace talks with the US unless delegates can agree on a framework for negotiations.
Until we agree on the framework, we cannot, set the date. As soon as we agree, there was a significant, actually progress made, but then this maximalist approach by the other side, trying to make Iran an exception in international law, prevented us to reach an agreement. I have to be very crystal clear that Iran would not accept to be an exception from the international law. Anything that we are going to be committed, we are going to commit within these international regulations.
We are live in Washington, D.C. and Tehran. Let's begin in the Iranian capital, where Ali Hashem is standing by. Ali, what's the latest?
Well, the latest is what the Supreme National Security Council just issued. They issued a statement saying that the situation with respect to the Strait of Hormuz will get back to the limitation of passage of vessels, and that's due to the United States policy in limiting the passage of vessels and also in imposing a blockade on Iran. This is on one side. This also intersects with what the armed forces are saying. However, the most important statement today was by the Supreme Leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, who addressed the military. He says, "The Army of Islam is now, as in the two previous imposed wars, bravely defending the waters, soil, and flag to which it belongs. Just as its drones strike the American and Zionist criminals like lightning, its brave Navy stands ready to make the enemies taste the bitterness of new defeats." And this is, in a way, another signal that the Strait of Hormuz will be closed as far as the Iranian conditions are not met, as how the Iranians are signaling it. So this is the main issue right now. The other issues are related to the talks and whether they're going to be resumed or not. For the moment, there's nothing in this regard.
Let's go live then to Washington. Patty Culhane is there for us. What are we to make of President Trump's latest comments, Patty?
Well, I think you can tell a lot by what questions were asked of the president. This was an executive order to fast-track approval of psychedelic drugs. And this Trump administration has done something very unusual in that they're letting in fringe media groups in, not the traditional media. And so it was quite clear that the White House had planned for him to not take many questions on Iran. The reporters in the room pretty much stuck to talking about the issue of psychedelic drugs. there was that one question, and he said that tankers are now going to Louisiana and Texas. I'm not exactly clear how that is possible with geography, but we'll have to ask the White House for clarification. He did say that they are talking, and we'll have more information on this later today. And you heard him earlier say that Iran got a little cute, as they are going to do, but we will not be blackmailed. So this is obviously a toned down message from what we saw from him in his social media posts and talking to reporters yesterday. In his mind, he was sending the message that this was pretty much a done deal. And he had said basically that the U.S. got everything that it wanted and implied that Iran got nothing that it wanted. So I think what we saw then was with the Iranian announcement that the Strait was open and his announcements that the negotiations were near complete, we saw the stock market rise by more than 1,000 points, the Dow Jones Industrial, and then we saw oil prices fall. So the markets are closed for the weekend, but the president's still trying to project an image that the talks are going along, even though the Iranians say the talks are, in fact, happening.
Ali Hashem in Tehran. Do the Iranian denials of Donald Trump's claims to have agreed most sticking points mean a resumption of talks isn't imminent?
Well, the issue is that the Iranians have been saying that there is a framework that's being put together. There are points to be negotiated, and that there's no final deal yet, and there's nothing. It's a very early stage. They've not yet started negotiating over these points. So the framework will need around 45 to 60 days to be finalized. And then President Trump came out and said that they've agreed on stopping enrichment indefinitely. They've agreed on handing over the highly enriched uranium to the United States. They've agreed on stopping financing Hezbollah and Hamas and other allied factions in the region. For the Iranians, these are points that they've not touched on yet. So to them, this is not a beginning. It's not a good beginning. And that's why it seems that we are dealing with two sides, each envisioning the negotiations from their own perspective. President Trump wants a deal with his own points. The Iranians are looking for a deal, and they have their own proposals on the table that are ready to be presented. However, the main issue here is that the gaps are still there. And to bridge the gaps, there's need to be trust. For now, the more President Trump is posting and calling issues from the Iranian point of view contradictory and inaccurate, the trust is just falling and falling, because actually there was no trust anyway.
Al Jazeera's Ali Hashem reporting live from Tehran. Ali, many thanks indeed. Patty, does the administration still think the talks can happen this weekend? It's Saturday already.
Well, exactly, and we know that the Pakistan leaders and Egyptian leaders and Saudi leaders, and they've been trying to get these talks back on track. And the president has kept saying that possibly this weekend, possibly the vice president will go back to Pakistan. It's not a quick flight. And as far as we know, the vice president's still in the States. But again, the president keeps insisting that they are, in fact, talking. We don't know exactly who's talking to whom. But he said just moments ago that he's going to have more information later tonight. So it is clear this is a president looking for an off-ramp. He wants to see this done. Just the broader context not only is having huge implications for the global economy, just focusing on the U.S., which obviously he cares about most as a U.S. politician, and his party facing some pretty dire predictions in the midterms. It has hit gas prices. That was one of the main things he was elected on. He promised to bring gas prices down. They are exceptionally high right now and will likely stay that way until this war comes to an end. And not only that, fertilizer prices have spiked. Many farmers say they can't even get fertilizer. Farmers were already hurting, and because of the tariffs, this is a key voting bloc for Republicans. The longer this goes on, the harder it is for average Americans. And what makes Americans angry, what makes them go to the polls, the cost of living. So this is a president looking for a way out, sounding positive positive, but as far as facts on the ground, it's yet to be borne out.
Al Jazeera's Patty Culhane reporting live from Washington. Patty, many thanks indeed. We'll